I almost felt something in this first measure. The birds had no idea that I was going to use a center to edge controller on them. Nature doesn't operate at 120 or any other BPM for that matter. Welcome to adventure sampling. There's a lot of birds up in this tree behind me, so we're going to roll with that. In this recording of the birds, what really struck me was the interesting rhythm between all the birds. So I thought it would be fun to train sensory percussion with the different birds. I kind of roughly identified 3 of the birds. This one sounds pretty consistent. This one, which is a lower pitch. And then this one. So sending that into sensory percussion, trained as the center, edge, and rim shot, this is just totally arbitrary since these are obviously birds. This is what you end up with. So it's not perfect because we're pretty far outside of the bounds of the intended use. I think it'd be fun to resample this beat with the birds. Then maybe what we could do is slice it by beat, which is totally arbitrary. Nature doesn't operate at 120 or any other BPM for that matter. I think what I'm going to do is record a little performance of exploring this slicing. Now what I'm wondering is if I quantize this just a little bit, if anything sensible will come out of this. I almost felt something in this first measure. Okay. I also set up this kit in sensory percussion, and this one has some cycles of samples, fingers, cymbals, vibraphone, chords, and this kind of weird combination of that one drum sample and then these chords. Running the same recording into this kit, we get a pretty interesting result. Something I was really excited about in this setup was leveraging controllers, which really take on a whole new light when you're using birds, because the birds had no idea that I was going to use a center to edge controller on them. So like the center, I trained with the one crow sounding bird with the higher pitch, and I trained the edge with the crow with the lower pitch, so I could use a timbre controller going from center to edge. and I map that to this send knob, for instance. And then the speed controller is just kind of harnessing the overall pace of the birds talking to each other to the mix knob on this delay, and then overall velocity, how loud the birds are, to the time of the delay. And I just really enjoyed thinking about the application of these things with birds. Using the controllers really makes us feel more alive, like generative composition vibe, all from these birds, and they had no idea.